की जय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जू की जय। नित्य विष्णु विष्णुपाद अष्टतर शत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जय। नित्य विष्णु विष्णुपाद अष्टतर शत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्य विष्णु विष्णुपाद अष्टतर शत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्य विष्णु विष्णुपाद अष्टतर शत शिशिमार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्य विष्णु विष्णुपाद अष्टतर शत शिशिमार भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्य विष्णु महाभागवत श्री गोक्षरदास बाबा जी महाराज की जय। नित्य विष्णु श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। नित्य विष्णु वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबा जी महाराज की जय। श्री रूपानुगौरिया गुरु वार्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्ट दास रघुनाथ चार गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर प्रसाद वृंद की जय। नाम अक्षय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल ब्रजमंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट विराट गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड मनोगंगा तुलसी भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपदाय राधिकाय प्रियात्मने श्रीश्रीमद्भक्तिवेदान्त नारायणेति नामिने। नमो ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। गुरवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातर आजुहाव पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुस्तं सार्वभूतहृदया मुनिमानतोऽस्मि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयामुदीरयेत्। शृण्वतं स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तन हृदन्तस्तो ह्यभद्राणि विधुनोति सुहृत्सतम्। नष्टप्रयेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। तवैवास्मि न जीवामि त्वया विना इति विज्ञाय राधे त्वां नायमां चरणन्तिकम्। भक्त्या विहीना अपराधलक्षाय क्षिप्ताष्टकामादितरङ्गमध्ये कृपामयि त्वां शरणं प्रपन्ना वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम्। भज श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरि गौर भक्तवृन्द। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hari bol, everybody. I hope you don't mind if I don't turn my camera on. Yeah, Dandavat Pranams, Gargaraj ji, Raseshwari Mataji, Indira Mataji, Ganga Mataji, and Madhavi Didi. Haribo, Dandavat Pranams, everybody. Alright, so also let me know if the sound's okay. I'm not using my mic right now. I'm actually just in the room I'm staying in rather than the office. So alright, so the first love letter and the first queen. Princess Rukmiṇī was the young daughter of Bhishmaka, king of Vidarbha. She had heard of Krishna's beauty and other attractive qualities from sages like Narad Muni, and thus desired him as her husband. Lord Krishna also wanted to marry her. Rukmini's brother Rukmi was envious of Krishna and wanted her to marry Shishupal instead. Rukmini Devi then wrote a letter expressing her love for Krishna and sent it to him through a trustworthy Brahmin. The Brahmin traveled to Dwarka, and Krishna welcomed and honored him. The Brahmin then showed Srimati Rukmini Devi's letter to Krishna that read, "O Lord, I am fully attracted to you ever since I have heard about you. Please come and take me away. On the day before my planned marriage with Shishupal, I will visit the temple of Ambika, from where you could come and kidnap me. I shall give up my life if you do not grant this favor. Then perhaps in my next life, I will be able to obtain you." Krishna sent out for Vidarbha at once on his chariot driven by Daruka. Lord Baladev also gathered his entire army and quickly went to Kundinapur, the capital of Vidarbha. Rukmini was anxious, not seeing the Brahman or Krishna. Not seeing the Brahman or Krishna till the night before the wedding. She cursed her bad fortune. Just then, she felt her left side twitch, which is a good omen for ladies. And the Brahman came and informed her of Krishna's firm promise to kidnap her. Krishna and Balaram had arrived at Kundinapur, and Bhishmaka received them with reverence and worshipped them with various gifts. The people of Vidarbha felt that Krishna alone would be a suitable husband for Rukmini, and prayed for their union. Meanwhile, Rukmini went to the temple of Ambika and prayed to be allowed to have Sri Krishna as her husband. Then she left the temple and walked with deliberate steps until she noticed Krishna. Then, as everyone looked on, Krishna came on his chariot and took the princess with him. The inimical kings, including Jarasandha, pursued Krishna. Seeing the violent attack, Rukmini became fearful, but Krishna encouraged her. Balaram and the Yadavas began to annihilate the opposing army. The enemy kings, headed by Jarasandha, withdrew their further attempts. So exciting. All right. Oh, that's so strange. The words aren't sharing. That's so strange. I don't know why that. I mean, I am sharing the screen, but for some reason it's not. Let me try just making it disappear. Huh. Maybe I do need the camera. Okay. The reason I didn't want the camera is because I haven't. Yeah. Whatever. I'll just put it on. Sorry. Okay. Oh, that is so bizarre. It's not sharing my screen. Okay, let me minimize this. This will work, I think. Okay, so then 1 second. Okay, I'm gonna minimize this screen. Huh. Okay, this is acting really strange. Give me a second here, guys, to figure out what's going on. I'm gonna stop screen sharing. Now let me try again. Entire screen. Okay, now it's sharing. That was weird. Okay. Okay, library. Sārārtha-darśinī. Okay. We might not finish the whole chapter today. Maybe we will. We'll see. Chapter 54, Marriage of Krishna and Rukmiṇī. Shri Shuka Uvacha Itti sarve tu sangrabdha Vahanarohya dangshita Swai swair balai balai parikranta Anviyor dhrita karmuka. Oh, and I've got Prajumna Prabhu, Mantramurti Mataji, and Bhavatarani Mataji. Dandavat pranams, all of you. Okay. Shukadev Goswami said, having thus spoken, all those infuriated kings donned their armor and mounted their conveyances. Each king, bow in hand, was surrounded by his own army as he went after Lord Krishna. Commentary by Sārārtha-darśinī. Commentary by Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura. This chapter describes Krishna's defeating Jarasandha and others, the disfiguring of Rukmiṇī, the consolation of Rukmiṇī, and the wedding of Krishna and Rukmiṇī in Dwarka. Tan apatata alokya yadavani kayutapa tastus tat mukarajan vispurja svadanukshite. The commanders of the Yadav army, seeing the enemy racing to attack, turned to face them and stood firm. O king, and they were twanging their bows. The enemy, whatever, you get it. Commentary. Seeing the enemy pursuing them, the Yadav army turns to face them and stood firm, twanging their bows. Ashvaprishte gajaskande ratopaste stragovida Momochu sharavarshani mega adrishvapoyata. Mounted on the backs of horses, the shoulders of elephants, and the seats of chariots, the enemy kings, expert with weapons, rained down arrows upon the Yadus like clouds pouring rain on mountains. Commentary. The shower of Jarasandha's arrows was totally insignificant, like rain falling on a mountain. Patyurbalam sharasaraish Channam viksha sumadhyama savridam aikshatad vaktra bhaya vivalalochana. Slender-waisted Rukmiṇī, seeing her lord's army covered by torrents of arrows, shyly looked at his face with fear-stricken eyes. Commentary. Rukmiṇī shyly glanced at Krishna's face. Prahasya bhagavanaha masma bharvam alochane vinakshatyadhunai vaitat tavakai shatravam balam. In response, the Lord laughed and assured her, "Do not be afraid, beautiful-eyed one. This enemy force is about to be destroyed by your soldiers." Commentary. Krishna laughingly said, "You need not fear, because your army will defeat the enemy." To express his great affection for Rukmiṇī, Krishna gallantly referred to his own Yadav army as your men, Tavakai, indicating that Krishna's entire dynasty was now the property of his beloved queen. One second, just seeing if Haribol Savitri Suryavi Didi. Tesham tar vikramam vira gada sankarshana Amrishyamana narachar jagnurhaya gajanrathan. The heroes of the Lord's army, headed by Gada and Sankarshan, could not tolerate the aggression of the opposing kings. Thus, with iron arrows, they began to strike down the enemy's horses, elephants, and chariots. Commentary. Not being able to tolerate the enemy's show of prowess, the Yadavas destroyed their chariots and horses with arrows. Petu shirangsiratinam ashvinam gajinam bhuvi sakundala kiritani shoshni shani chakotisha. The heads of soldiers fighting on the heads of soldiers fighting on chariots, horses, and elephants fell to the ground by the millions. Some heads wore earrings and helmets, others turbans. Hasta sasi gadeshvasa karabha uravongraya ashvashvatarana ghoshtra karamartya shirangshicha. All around were thighs, legs, and fingerless hands, along with hands clutching swords, clubs, and bows, and also the heads of horses, donkeys, elephants, camels, wild asses, and humans. Commentary. Karabha is defined in the Amar Kosh dictionary, the portion of the hands from the wrists to the base of the fingers. The same word may also indicate an elephant's trunk. And thus, in this verse, the implication is that the thighs lying on the battlefield resembled the trunks of elephants. Anyamana balanika vrishni jaya kankshibhi rajana mukha jagmur rajana vimukha jagmur jarasanda purasara. Seeing their armies being struck down by the Vrishnis, who were eager for victory, the kings headed by Jarasandha were discouraged and left the battlefield. Shishupalam samabhyetya rittadaram ivaturam nashtatvisham gatotsaham shusyadvadanama bruvan. The kings approached Shishupal, who was disturbed like a man who has lost his wife. His complexion was drained of color, his enthusiasm was gone, and his face appeared dried up. The kings spoke to him as follows. Bho bho purusha shardula dormanasyamidam tyaja na priya priyayo rajan nishta dehi shudrishyate. Jarasandha said, Listen, Shishupal, O tiger among men, give up your depression. After all, embodied beings' happiness and unhappiness is never seen to be permanent, O king. Commentary. One does not see any permanence of happiness and distress. Yatadaro mayi yoshit nrityate kuhakechaya evam ishvara tantroyam ihate sukadukhayo. Just as a puppet in the form of a woman dances by the desire of the puppeteer, so this world, controlled by the Supreme Lord, struggles in both happiness and misery. Commentary. Just as puppets are controlled by the puppeteer, so the living entities receive happiness and distress under the direction of the Lord. Thus we see that even though the demons accept the power of God, they are demoniac because of being inimical to Krishna. Is that Jarasandha speaking? Shore saptadashaham vai samyugani parajita traya vangshatibhi sanyai jeke ekam aham param. In battle with Krishna, I and my 23 armies lost 17 times. Only once did I defeat him. Commentary. Jarasandha said, I have been defeated in 17 battles with Krishna using 23 armies. Finally, in one battle, I was victorious. Tatapyaham na shochami na praharishyami karhichit kalena daivayuktena janan vidravitam jagat. But still I never lament or rejoice, because I know that this world is driven by time and fate. Commentary. Under the direction of fate, time moves and agitates everyone in this world. Adhunapi vayam sarve virayuttapayuttapa parajita falgutantrair yadubi krishna palitai. And now all of us, great commanders of military leaders, have been defeated by the Yadavs and their small entourage, who are protected by Krishna. Commentary. Jarasandha said, I was defeated by the meager entourage of the Yadus. Ripavo jigyuradhuna kala atmanusarini tada vayam vijeshyamo yada kala padakshina. Now our enemies have our enemies have conquered, because time favors them. But in the future, when time is auspicious for us, we shall conquer. Commentary. Jarasandha said, when time becomes favorable to us, then we will win. Shishuka uvacha evam prabodhito mitraish chaidyo gadanugapuram hatta shesha punastepi yayusvam swam puram nripa. Shukadev Goswami said, thus persuaded by his friends, Shishupal took his followers and went back to his capital. The surviving warriors also returned to their respective cities. Rukmito rakshasodvaham Krishna dvid asahan swashu prishtatonva gamat Krishnam akshohinya vrito bali. Powerful Rukmi, however, was especially envious of Krishna. He could not bear the fact that Krishna had carried off his sister to marry her in the Rakshasa style. Thus, he pursued the Lord with an entire military division. Rukmyamarshi susangrabdha shinvatam sarvabhujan pratijagye mahabahur tankshita sasharasana ahatva samare krishnam apratyuya charukminim kundinam na pravekshyami satyametar bravimiva. Frustrated and enraged, mighty armed Rukmi, dressed in armor and wielding his bow, had sworn before all the kings, I shall not again enter Kundina if I do not kill Krishna in battle and bring Rukmini back with me. I swear this to you. Commentary. Rukmi, being intolerant and very angry, took up his bow and said, I will not enter Kundina without killing Krishna and bringing back Rukmini. Bharati, goddess Saraswati, gives the following meaning. Rukmi said, I will not enter Kundina because I do not understand Krishna. Therefore, I will not try to stop him or free Rukmini. Ityuktva ratamaruhya sarathim prahasatvara chodayashvanta Krishna tasya me samyugam bhavet. Having said this, he had mounted his chariot and told his charioteer, drive the horses quickly to where Krishna is. He and I must fight. Adyaham nishitar bhanar Gopalasya sudhurmate Neshye virya madamyena swasame prasabham hrita. This wicked-minded cowherd boy infatuated with his prowess, has violently abducted my sister, but today I will remove pride with my sharp arrows. Commentary. Rukmiṇī said, "Today with my sharp arrows I will remove the heroic pride of that stupid cowherd boy who has forcefully abducted my sister." From the viewpoint of Goddess Saraswati, the meaning is, today the intoxication of pride. Oops, what happened? Sorry. Today the intoxication of pride, by the intoxication I have in my own. Sorry, let me reread that. Today the intoxication of my pride I have in my own prowess will be removed by the sharp arrows of the cowherd boy, whose beautiful mind is compassionate even toward the wicked. Vikatamaнаkumatir Ishvarasya pramanavit Ratenaikena govindam tishta tathavayat. Boasting thus, foolish Rukmiṇī, ignorant of the true extent of the Supreme Lord's power, approached Lord Govinda in his lone chariot and challenged him. "Just stand and fight!" Dhanurvriksha sudridam Dhanurvikrishya sudridham Jagne Krishnam Tribhisharai Aha Chatrakshanam Tishta Yadunam Kula Pangsana. Rukmiṇī drew his bow with great strength and struck Lord Krishna with 3 arrows. Then he said, "Stand here for a moment, O defiler of the Yadu dynasty." Commentary. Kula Pangsana can mean, "O defiler of your dynasty." But according to the inspiration of Saraswati, Kula Pangsana may be understood as a combination of the words Kulapa, O protector of the Yadu dynasty, and Angsana, O expert killer of enemies. Atra kshanam tishta can mean stand here a moment. It can also mean Ara ikshanam tishta, stand so that I may glance upon you. Yatra yasi swasaram me mushitva dvangsavad tavi harishe madang manda ayina kutayodhina. Wherever you go, carrying off my sister like a crow stealing sacrificial butter, I will follow. This very day I shall relieve you of your false pride, you fool, you deceiver, you cheater in battle. Commentary. Rukmiṇī said, "You are taking away my sister just like a crow steals a sacrificial offering. Today, O fool, I will take away your pride in being a false warrior and a cheater." The other meaning is, since my sister is Mahalakshmi and thus belongs to you, whether you steal her or not, wherever you go, she is your own essence. After releasing my sister from you, I will bring her back to my house, just as a crow steals the sacrificial butter. Please break the pride of this false warrior, myself, who is a fool and a cheater. The Maidini dictionary says that havi means ghee, or a sacrificial offering. In both usages, the word is neuter. Yavanna me hato banai shayitha munchadarikam smayam krishna danushchitva sharbir vivyadak rukminam. Release the girl before you are struck dead by my arrows and made to lie down. In response to this, Lord Krishna smiled, and with 6 arrows he struck Rukmiṇī and broke his bow. Yikes. Commentary. Rukmiṇī said, "Release this girl before you lie on the battlefield, having been killed by my arrows." The other meaning is, because you are not killed by my arrows, do not release the girl. Krishna said, "Why should I keep Rukmi, so you could lie down." Although Rukmi did not say it, the sentence becomes complete with the phrase, "with her on a bed of flowers." In fact, Krishna was meant to lie down with Rukmini on a beautiful bed of flowers, but out of shyness, Rukmi did not directly mention it. Sanskrit, such an amazing language. It can be so many different meanings. Ashtabhishtraturo vahan dvabhyam sutam tvajam tribhi na chanyad dhanuradhaya krishnan vivyadhapanchabhi. The Lord struck Rukmi's 4 horses with 8 arrows, his chariot driver with 2, and the chariot's flag with 3. Rukmi grabbed another bow and struck Lord Krishna with 5 arrows. Taistadita sharau ghaistu chicheda dhanurachyuta punar anyar upadatta tarapyachinaravyaya. Although hit by these many arrows, Lord Achyuta again broke Rukmi's bow. Rukmi picked up yet another bow, but the infallible Lord broke that one to pieces as well. Parigam patishamshu charmasi shaktito maro yadyad ayudhamadatta tatsarvam sochinadhari. Iron bludgeon, 3-pointed spear, sword and shield, pike, javelin, whatever weapon Rukmi picked up, Lord Hari smashed it to bits. Tatoratar avaplutya kardaka panir jighangsaya Krishnam abhyadravat krudha patanga iva pavakam. Then Rukmi leaped down from his chariot and, sword in hand, rushed furiously toward Krishna to kill him, like a bird flying into the wind. Tasya chapa tata kardagam tila shashchar matcheshubhi chitvasim adadhetyam Rukminam hantamudyata. As Rukmi attacked him, the Lord shot arrows that broke Rukmi's sword. The Lord shot arrows that broke Rukmi's sword and shield into small pieces. Krishna then took up his own sharp sword and prepared to kill Rukmi. Drishtva bratri vadod yogam Rukmini bhayavivala patitva padayor bhartur uvacha karunam sati. Seeing Lord Krishna ready to kill her brother, saintly Rukmini was filled with alarm. She fell at her husband's feet and piteously spoke as follows. Commentary. Rukmini thought, "What will people think if they know that my brother was killed before my eyes?" She is filled with fear because of this, not out of affection for her brother. The prem of the queens of Dwarka, known as Samanjasa prem, proper love, is dependent on public opinion, whereas the prem of the Vrajagopis, known as Samartha prem, is much stronger because it is not dependent at all on the opinion of the public. However, one should not think that the general characteristic of prem, namely exclusive possessiveness of Vishnu in a loving relationship, is lacking in Rukmini. Since within herself, she actually had no affection at all for Rukmi and other demons like him. This will be described later in detail. Exclusive possessiveness is explained in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Is that 4? I think that's 4, right? 4:2:2. Ananya mamata Vishnu, mamata prema sangata, bhaktir ityuchate bhishma, praladodhavar naradai. When one is completely apathetic to all others and has developed an exclusive sense of ownership or possessiveness in relation to Lord Vishnu, thinking of Vishnu and no one else as his object of love. Such an awakening is called Prema Bhakti by Bhishma, Prahlad, Uddhav, and Narad. One second, just checking the comments. Haribo, Rukmini Didi, Dandavat Pranam, and Yashoda Didi. Shri Rukminuvacha Yogeshvara Pramedyatman Deva Deva Jagatpate Hantum Narhasi Kalyana Bhrataram Me Mahabhuja. Shri Rukmini said, O controller of all mystic power, immeasurable one, Lord of lords, master of the universe, O all auspicious and mighty armed one, please do not kill my brother. Commentary. Rukmini said, You possess inconceivably great transcendental opulences, while Rukmi is the most insignificant of those who are controlled by you. You are the immeasurable one, and he is like an insect among the limited. You are the supreme among the demigods, and he is the lowest among humans because he is inimical to you. You are the protector of the universe, Jagatpate, and though he is evil, because he is within the universe, he is to be protected. Therefore, O auspicious one, with mighty arms, you should not kill this inauspicious person with no power in his arms. Shri Shukla Uvacha Taya Paritrasa Vikampitangaya Shuchavashusyan Mukaruddhakantaya Katarya Visrang Semamalaya Grihitapada Karunonyavartata. Shukadev Goswami said, Rukmini's utter fear caused her limbs to tremble and her mouth to dry up, while her throat choked up out of sorrow, and in her agitation her golden necklace scattered. She grasped Krishna's feet, and the Lord, feeling compassionate, desisted. Commentary. Out of fear of the worldly rule that one's sister is the personification of mercy, Rukmini was compassionate toward Rukmi, even though Rukmi was wicked, opposed to her, and would have been the cause of her giving up her life if she had been forced to marry Shishupal. Krishna shared Rukmini's compassion. Chailena Bhadvatam one second. Okay. Chailena Bhadvatam Asadu Karinam Smashmar Chalena Badva Tamasadukarinam Sashmashrutkesham Pravapan Vyarupayat Tavan Mamardhu Parasanyamarbhutam Yadu Pravira Nalinim Yatha Gaja. Lord Krishna tied up the evildoer with a strip of cloth. He then proceeded to disfigure Rukmi by comically shaving him, leaving parts of his mustache and hair. By that time, the Yadu heroes had crushed the extraordinary army of their opponents, just as elephants crush a lion. Commentary. Rukmi should never come and do this mischief again. Thinking thus, Krishna showed his contempt for Rukmi by marking his body with some ugly features to let him remember his defeat and dissolve his pride. Krishna tied him up by the neck with a strip of cloth using his left hand, while holding up the two ends of that cloth. Krishna took his sword in his right hand, knocked off Rukmini's turban, and then shaved off bits of his mustache, beard, and hair at the root, drawing blood. With scraps of hair remaining here and there, Rukmini looked completely disfigured. Krishnantikam upavrajadadrushush. Um, Krishnantikam upavrajadadrushush tatra Rukmiṇam tata bhutam hatta. What's the meter for this? Krishnantikam upavrajadadrushush tatra Rukmiṇam. Whatever, I'm just going to read it. Tata bhutam hatta prayam. Tata bhutam hatta prayam drishta sankashano vivo. Vimucha bhattam karuno bhagavam krishnama pravrit. Oh, this is normal on a stupa. Anyways, doesn't matter. As the Yadus approached Lord Krishna, they saw Rukmiṇī in this sorry condition, practically dying of shame. When the all-powerful Lord Balaram saw Rukmiṇī, he compassionately released him and spoke the following to Lord Krishna. Balaram always has a soft spot for evil people. That's his merciful nature. Nityananda Prabhu, right? So he spoke the following to Lord Krishna. Commentary. Out of compassion, Balaram took the cloth that Krishna was holding in his left hand and released Rukmiṇī from the noose. Asada idam tvaya Krishna kritam asmaj jagupsitam vapanam shmashukesham vairupyam suhridovada. Lord Balaram said, "My dear Krishna, you have acted improperly. This deed will bring shame on us, for to disfigure a close relative by shaving off his mustache and hair is as good as killing him." Commentary. Balaram said, "Death itself is more proper than shaving him with your sword, which has made his face ghastly." Balaram gently reproached Krishna in order to console the lamenting Rukmiṇī. Internally, however, Balaram was thinking, "O most clever brother, you have done what is proper and acted quite rightly." Thus expressing satisfaction, Balaram spoke this verse. Though Rukmiṇī is factually a duhrit, an enemy and not a friend, in this verse Balaram sarcastically calls him suhrit, which means a well-wisher, friend, and a brother-in-law. My vasman asuyeta bhratur vairupya Bratur Maivasmana Sadhavyasuyeta Bratur Vairupya Chintaya Sukha Dukha Donachanyo Stiyataksva Krita Bhukpuman. Saintly lady, please do not be displeased with us out of anxiety for your brother's disfigurement. No one but oneself is responsible for one's joy and grief, for a man experiences the results of his own deeds. Commentary. To dispel Rukmiṇī's sadness, Balaram reasons with her in this verse. Everyone must enjoy or suffer the results of his acts. What is this useless affection for this most wicked person who acts against your own husband? Balaram gently scolded Rukmiṇī. Bandur vadarha doshopi na bandur. Bandur vadarha doshopi na doshopi na bandur vadamarhati. Sorry guys. Tyajasvenaiva doshena hattakem anyate puna. Again addressing Krishna, Balaram said, a relative should not be killed even if his wrongdoing warrants capital punishment. Rather, he should be thrown out of the family. Since he has already been killed by his own sin, why kill him again? Commentary. In order to satisfy Rukmiṇī, Balaram instructs Krishna in morality in this verse. A relative should not be killed by a relative, and a brother-in-law should not be killed by the sister's husband. Kshatriyanam ayam dharma prajapati vinirmita Bhratapi Bhrataram Hanyar Yena Ghora Tamastata. Turning to Rukmiṇī, Balaram continued. The code of sacred duty for warriors established by Lord Brahma enjoins that one may have to kill even his own brother. That is indeed a most dreadful law. Commentary. Balaram speaks again to Rukmiṇī, who is saying in her mind, Your younger brother does not know this rule. Balaram said, The scriptures order that one should even kill one's brother. What to speak then of a brother-in-law who is so vile? Rajasya bhumirvittasya striyo manasya tejasa manino nyasya vaheto Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 10.54.1. Again, Balaram addressed Krishna. Blinded by conceit with their personal opulences, proud men offend others for the sake of such things as kingdom, land, wealth, women, honor, and power. Commentary. But Rukmiṇī is thinking to herself, a Kshatriya may have to kill his relative, but he should not disfigure him in such a ghastly way. To satisfy her, Balaram then spoke to Krishna. O Krishna, proud fellows abuse others in order to get land, money, and power, but we should not do this. Taveyam vishana buddhi sarvabhuteshu duhridam yanmanyase sada bhadram suridam bhadramargyavat. To Rukmiṇī, Balaram said, Your attitude is unfair, for like an ignorant person, you wish good to those who are inimical to all living beings, and who have done evil to your true well-being. And who have done evil to your true well-wishers. Commentary. But this rule is for situations other than war. In war, however, the rule is that the enemy should be defeated and made insignificant. Guessing that this was Krishna's internal thought, Balaram then spoke this verse to Rukmiṇī. The good done by Krishna to your own well-wishers and family members, such as Rukmiṇī, namely shaving his hair, that you think is bad, is an unfair attitude on your part. This is the biased attitude of you, who are nonetheless wise. Atmamoho nrinam eva kalpate deva mayaya surid durhrid udasina itidehatmamaninam. The Supreme Lord's Maya makes men forget their real selves, and thus, taking the body for the self, they consider others to be friends, enemies, or neutral parties. Commentary. I know quite well that my brother is evil, but I know quite well that my brother is evil, but still I have some attachment as a relative. What can I do? If Rukmiṇī asks this, Balaram answers, Certainly, for an elevated person like you, such bad judgment is not proper. But for worldly people, this is their natural tendency. For those who think that their bodies are themselves, there is such bewilderment, but not for those in knowledge. Eka eva paro hyatma sarvesham api dehinam naneva grihate mudhar yata jyotir yata nabha. Those who are bewildered perceive the one supreme soul who resides in all embodied beings as many. They see him as many, that one supreme soul as many. Just as one may perceive the light in the sky or the sky itself as many. Let's see the commentary. In 2 verses, Balaram refutes the misconception of those who think that the body is the self. First, he states that the body is not the supersoul. The Supreme Soul is certainly the only mover of the embodied souls. 2 examples are given to show that one is the basis of many. It is like a fire within wood and ether in a pot. The Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 1.2.32 gives a similar analogy concerning fire and wood. Yata hyavahito vanir darushveka sayonishu na neva bhati vishvatma bhuteshu cha tata puman. The Lord, as a supersoul, pervades all things, just as fire permeates wood. And so he appears to be of many varieties, though he is the absolute one without a second. Deha adyantavan esha dravya prana gunatmaka atmanya avidya kyapta sangsarya dati dehinam. Don't know what this is actually. This might be a different word anyways. This material body, which has a beginning and an end, is composed of the physical elements, the senses, and the modes of nature. The body, imposed on the self by material ignorance, causes one to experience the cycle of birth and death. Commentary. In this verse, Balaram also explains that the body is not the soul. This body, which you think is to be protected because he is a relative, or to be killed because he is an enemy, consists of 3 aspects: the physical elements, the senses, and the modes of nature. It is produced for the soul by ignorance and makes the soul rotate in the cycle of birth and death under the control of attraction and repulsion. Natmano nyena samyogo viyogaschasata sati tadhetu tvat tatprasiddherdrig rupabhyam yat tadhetu tvat tatprasiddherdrig rupabhyam yatarave. O intelligent lady, the soul never undergoes contact with or separation from insubstantial material objects, because the soul is their very origin and illuminator. Thus, the soul resembles a sun, which neither comes in contact with nor separates from the sense of sight and what is seen. Commentary. Balaram said, because the soul is tainted by contact with the body appears to be the self. Actually, however, there is never any contact of the soul with the body, neither the supersoul nor the individual soul have any contact with the body. First, this verse can be explained as referring to the soul, jivatma, and matter. There is no contact of the soul with the material body, which is impermanent, having a beginning and end. Because there is no contact, there is no separation. How does this take place? The soul is the cause of matter, assembling itself into a material body. Although the soul manifests the material body, it is not contaminated by it. How can the producer be contaminated by that which it manifests? The explanation is then given in regard to the supersoul, Paramatma. The Paramatma has no contact with the individual soul or his impermanent body, because the Paramatma is the source of the jiva and his body is the very nature of God, as God. Therefore, the Paramatma is never contaminated by either the jiva or the body manifested from him. The producer is never touched by the producer is never touched by that which is manifested from it. The example of the sun applies in both cases. For the sun, situated in one place, there is no contact with the eye or the visible form manifested by that eye. which are both made manifest by itself. In this context, the sun represents the Paramatma, the sense of sight represents the Jiva, and the body represents the visible form. Oh, it's 8:30 already. Yeah, and Balaram's instructions to Rukmiṇī goes on a little while. So maybe let's stop here at verse 48. Okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Okay, so we will complete Baladev's instructions to Rukmiṇī tomorrow, and then we will actually, let's just read the two translations of these two verses, then we'll complete what he said, and we'll read the Sanskrit again tomorrow. So, as a sleeping person perceives himself, the objects of sense enjoyment, and the fruits of his acts within the illusion of a dream, so one who is unintelligent undergoes material existence. Therefore, with transcendental knowledge, dispel the grief that is weakening and confounding your mind. Please resume your natural mood, O princess of the pristine smile. Then, Shukadev Goswami said, thus enlightened by Lord Balaram, slender Rukmiṇī forgot her depression and steadied her mind by spiritual intelligence. Okay, so we'll read this all again tomorrow. Jai Shishi Guru Guranga Gandhar Vikagiri Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Jai Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai Nityal Vishnupad Rashata Rashata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Shri Guru Dev Ki Jai Nityal Vishnu Vishnupad Rashata Rashata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nityal Vishnu Vishnupad Rashata Rashata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai Nityal Vishnu Vishnupad Rashata Rashata Shishmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nityal Vishnu Vishnupad Rashata Rashata Shishmar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai Nityal Vishnu Mahabhagavat Srila Gorksharas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Nityal Vishnu Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Ṭhākura Ki Jai Nityal Vishnu Vishnupad Nityal Vishnu Vishnupad Rashata Rashata Shishmar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai Nityal Vishnu Mahabhagavat Srila Gorksharas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Nityal Vishnu Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Ṭhākura Ki Jai Nityal Vishnu Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Rupa Nugagoria Guru Varga Ki Jai Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dashagunath Shad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanantari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda Ki Jai Namachay Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Kshetra Mandal Gora Mandal Vraja Mandal Mathura Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Sarva Abhishta Bharata Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Radha Kund Shama Kund Ki Jai Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai. Shri Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya ki jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. Sārārtha-darśinī vritti ki jai. Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura ki jai. Shri Rukmiṇī Devi ki jai. Shri Krishna Chandra ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Gaur. Vrindaya Tulsi Devaya Priyaya Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Sattvatai Namo Namaha. Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripasindubhyaiva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandava pranams everybody. Sorry for falling asleep while I was reading so much. I'm not sure if you could tell, right? I was falling asleep all throughout. It's because I only slept 4 hours last night. So yeah, I'll get some rest though. But all right. Thank you so much for joining. Jai Shri Radhe. See you all tomorrow. And tomorrow's a perfect amount to read. Today we had like 5,400 words, I think. But tomorrow, when we finish this chapter and we read the next chapter, what is the next chapter? It is the history of Pradyumna. So both those chapters together is only 4,170 words. So we'll be able to finish on time. All right. Dandavat pranams, everybody. See you all tomorrow. Jai Shri Radhe. Hari Bol Rukmiṇī Didi. Indira Mataji. Everybody else. Jai Shri Radhe.